Hey, good afternoon. Only one person? Maybe others? Nobody has come. Okay, you come forward. Let's see what we can do for you. Nobody means what? There is one more person, na? Two. One is Kritika. Yes, she has been coming a long time now.
No, she's new.
She's new.
Only this week.
Okay. Tell me what I was doing last class.
So we have started the dead woman regulation. We have read the operation of.
We are meeting after a long break, I think, correct? How long? 15 days. Good, huh? Holidays.
Yes.
So, French Revolution, if I'm not so right, if I'm not so wrong, we had gone up till that. I don't recollect, you only tell me.
So there is the dead woman regulation, and we have read this part. And after that, we have come to the operation of slavery.
That also done or just going to start?
So you have to.
Okay. So then there is a revolution and everyday life, correct?
Yes.
And that happens. So it is at the end of the chapter then.
Yes.
So you are going to start civics or wait for the other persons to come? How about this boy? He is not going to come. Swayam. Not yet. Okay, just solve the question answers of French Revolution. Let's see. Let's check the facts. Maybe one or two questions where I can help you. Correct? Yes. If not, then I'll start with the first chapter of your civics. Yeah, I think yesterday or day before yesterday you had lectures of Anubhav, sir. No. And my besides my lecture. Achha, you are coming today only?
Yes. After the
Vacation. Achha. Some portions will be shared by the Anubhav, sir. That's what he told me. I don't know. Any of the questions where you need my help? Not yet. Economics. Economics Palanpur chapter is done?
yes.
First chapter. What is the Google saying? White and cause? Or you want me to continue with the second chapter of history? What do you want me to do? You can't पहले खत्म करिए, है ना? Yes. So that you get a clear idea of what you need to do. Which answers you on my help?
Reading the
That's a reading. Great. Just check whether we have done Zolverin. Tith. Go to the last page of the same chapter. They've given some terms. उसमें से निकालो. You write tith in your notebook. Tith. उधर. Tith, tile. Are you seeing that?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Write it in your notebook. It is very important. They ask you every year. What do you mean by tith? Taxes paid by the people to the church. Correct? And then there is उसके नीचे tile रहेगा. So we'll do this chapter like this. Tith and tile, very important. Read the other terms. First question, what is the first question saying?
So, solved questions.
नहीं unsolved. Worksheet type.
Worksheet, the first question is why was the Bastille prison attacked?
Why was it attacked? You go to that storming of Bastille Open. It was a symbol of that monarch.
Yes. Because the people were getting frustrated and
Correct. But you to get the some textual lines, go to that paragraph where it is storming of Bastille Open. Did you get it?
Yes. On the morning 14 July 1789.
No need of that. Go after they broke open, they went in. They got the arms examination, and some 7 prisoners were there.
Yeah, finally, a group of several hundred people marched towards the eastern part of the city and stormed the fortress prison of Bastille, where they hoped to find food and ammunition. In the armed fight, the commander of the Bastille was killed and the prisoner released. Though there were only 7 of them, yet the Bastille was hated by all because it stood for the despotic power.
Yes, put these 2 points. It was hated by all the French people and it stood right there. Always connected to the questions, huh? Always start with the question, what it is asking, then write the 2 points. That will be a complete summary of the. This is how you write questions.
So I have written that the Bastille prison was attacked because it was hated by all, and as it stood for the despotic power of the king.
Very good. What is the next?
Go to
Yeah, and then write when was it looted and what all the things they found. वो भी लिख दो ना. That will be easy for you to know. Because although the question is not asking that, but you write one line extra. And how many prisoners they found, something, etc., etc. Second question.
The second question was what was the tin?
Yes. You copy down?
Yes, a tax levied by the church comprising 1/10 of the agricultural produce.
Okay. Next.
Why did the French government increase the taxes? Because
One, their treasury was empty, mainly because of continuous prolonged war. Second, he maintained a lavish court.
yes,
When he calls for that meeting, that is the place you will get it.
upon his accession, the new king found an empty treasury. Long years of war had drained the
Long years of war.
Had drained the financial resources of France. The cost of maintaining an extravagant court at the immense palace of Versailles.
Correct. ये पूरा लिख दो directly. We'll start with the second chapter, Socialism in Europe.
So we can start with the civics chapter because in school it isn't started.
Okay, so did they release you the portion?
No, I guess there would be in the first exam
One chapter from this and one chapter from that. That's it?
Yes.
ठीक है, start. Because I don't know, Anubhav sir might take some lectures, you know him now.
Yes.
So that's why he told me that. ठीक है, no problem. It's for you to start the course. Contributions for that. What is democracy and why democracy? Correct. How many questions have solved? Okay, rest you solve it from the house and then show it to me in the next. For today's date, that heading, democracy. First I'll give you the meaning, then we proceed ahead. So when you understand the word democracy, what is the first picture that comes to your mind?
Where the government is by the people, for the people.
Oh, very good. By the people, for the people, and of the people. Whose definition it is?
Of democracy.
Aristotle's definition. Correct.
Yes.
And if you understand more in depth, what else you know? That India and America are the two largest democracies. Correct?
Yes.
And more than that, what else you know?
Democracy, in the democracy, the leader is done by voting and.
It is normally through election we have the government.
Yes.
So if I tell you what is democracy, we say it is a representative government. You accept? Because you and me cannot get into the court, get into the parliament. But your and my representative will be going for what? Ruling. So every 5 years we have an election, and after election, what happens?
The leader is chosen.
A leader is chosen. So the biggest advantage of the democracy is that. What is that?
Is that
it is the will of the people.
Yes.
Without the will of the people, no person can occupy the chair. No person can become the leader. And once he becomes a leader, also he cannot be what do you call it? Keep on doing the things what he wants, because anyway he has to continue what? To be very popular.
Yes.
Doing the things what the people need. And if he does it, maybe next election he might be not. So this chapter will tell you only one simple thing. What is that thing? First of all, you understand democracy. As I said, democracy is that form of the government which represents the will of the people. What is will? As long as you vote for me, as long as I enjoy the popularity, then only I will be a leader. The day when I cease to, what do you call it? Lose your confidence, I will be removed. And no dictatorship, no aristocratic government, and no authoritarian government. What is authoritarian? One person rule. Correct. In 10th standard, we will be studying the first chapter of civics called as power sharing. Here, power is not kept in one fellow. Why? It is distributed to different people.
Legislature, judiciary.
Very good. Oh, you know, it is legislature, executive, and judiciary. Legislature, lawmaking, executive implements the laws, and judiciary decides the cases. So why this chapter is very important? Because initially you should understand what was India before 1947. What was it?
It was under the rule of
British. And Britishers were ruling more like a monarchy only. And Indians do not enjoy any rights. So when you use the word freedom, we came to know only after 1947. Here you get rights, fundamental rights, and you have got some duties also. Here you get something called as universal adult franchise. Suna?
Yeah, that every person.
All these citizens who are above the age of 18 years are eligible to vote. Whether it is from different religion, different community, different caste, it's okay. Only you have to be an Indian citizen, and that. Then there are very positive things of this democracy, and there are some negative things of democracy. The first positive things I feel, it's so simple to tell you what it is. That this government is most sought government today. What is the meaning of most sought government? No other country in the world gives freedom or gives rights or the person can enjoy his full potential. What is full potential? Only under a setup what we call as a democratic setup. So how do I explain the word democratic setup? So it is that setup in which the constitution is supreme. What is constitution?
You have to always maintain the laws and.
No, constitution is set of rules.
Yes.
According to which this country is ruled. Do we have a written constitution?
Yes.
Who was the drafting committee chairman? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was a person who formed our constitution. So when he formed the constitution, he made it in a mind that whatever it is the people, whatever it is their rights and fundamental rights or any other rights have to be of highest importance. So today, if I want to tell you, it has both merits and demerits also. Now you tell me what are the advantages of adopting India becoming a democracy?
First of all, that the people are getting all the rights and the
Yes.
user cannot just do anything of what he
Correct.
wants.
It is no unlimited use of power. Nobody can dictate terms over you. If I have the fundamental rights, even you have the same. So neither I can encroach on your fundamental right, nor you can encroach on me. So here the utmost importance is given to an individual liberty and freedom. Second point. The most important part of this is more it is the elections. Elections, we have a separate body in our country called Election Commission of India. Have you heard what is Election Commission doing? Whatever elections to the central and state government, it is this organization which conducts the election. How it conducts the elections? We say free and fair. What is free and fair? Free, since you and me are not going to pay to take part or go for the voting. Fair, everyone has an equal chance. Everyone has an equal opportunity. So when I try to explain to you that in the absence of democracy, at least in a country like India, what is it? Multilingual, multicultural. It is so difficult for anybody to survive, or it is so easy for anybody to become a dictator. The 200 years of British imperialism has taught us that we should give highest importance to individual freedom. Is it okay? So now you go to page number 1 of your volume, correct? First read what is democracy, then I'll take you to the word features. Only the democracy definition. Just read it. I'll explain it.
Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This definition allows us to separate democracy from forms of government that are clearly not democratic. The army rulers of Myanmar are not elected by the people. Those who happen to be in control of the army become the rulers of the country. People have no say in this decision. Dictators like Pinochet are not elected by the people.
Okay.
This also applies to monarchies. The kings of Nepal and Saudi Arabia rule not because the people have chosen them to do, but because they happen to be born into the royal family. Thus, this simple definition is not adequate. It reminds us that democracy is people's rule, but every government that holds an election is not necessarily a democracy. Every government in the contemporary world wants to be called a democracy, even if it is not so. That is why we need to carefully distinguish between a government that is a democracy and one that pretends to be one. We can do so by understanding each word in this definition carefully and spelling out the features of a democratic government.
Okay. So if I want to tell you what really makes this is the best, sir, I feel I am very safe under this government. What does that safety comes from? We have courts, we have laws, we have rules, we have regulations. Generally, in a country like maybe some countries where it is more of government oriented, but here it is more of people oriented. It is the people's will which is very important. And if I say you are under a dictatorship, what you won't get it immediately. I'm asking, what you won't get it?
The freedom.
Freedom of any sort you won't be getting. Second, you are just enjoying two things. You are pay taxes and enjoying your livelihood, no take part in the constitution, no take part in the government. So here you feel very good or very important that your one vote can decide the fate of the government. So here people's say is very important. So what do they say? It is freedom of press, speech, expression, and religion. So let us understand features now. Let us go to the next main idea. Features of democracy.
By definition, democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This raises many questions. Who are the rulers in this definition? which officials must be elected for any government to be called a democracy, which decisions may be taken by non-elected officials in a democracy.
Okay.
What kind of election constitutes a democratic election? What conditions must be filled for an election to be considered democratic?
Okay.
Who are the people who can elect the rulers or get elected as rulers? Should this include every citizen on an equal basis? Can a democracy deny some citizens this right? Finally, what kind of form of government is democracy? Can elected rulers do whatever they want in a democracy, or must a democratic function with some limits? Is it necessary for a democracy to respect some rights of the citizens?
Okay.
Let us consider each of these questions with the help of some examples.
Now, if I want to answer all these questions, only one thing I would love to say. What is that? That it is everywhere people's consultation, or it is everywhere people's viewpoint. It is asked. Now, you feel that you are very secured inside your family or inside your house. Why is it so?
Because parents are there.
Okay, parents are there. What else? The things that you can't do it in your neighbor's house or in your relative's house or in any of the other house, you can do it in your house. So don't you think India gives you all kinds of setup and you feel very much that you are inside your house only? You go to any foreign country or any other country, will you get the same feeling? Why not? One,
their form of the government would be a little different from what it is in India.
Very good. It's so simple to tell you that you will feel first alienated. What does alienated means? So something that I am not a part of this organization. I'm not a part of this country. Although you may live for 10 years or 5 years, that is immaterial. But you always feel you are a foreigner only. Because one, that connectivity with the government you will not have. Because their setup is totally different from what India gives you. So here we are going to understand our own two neighboring countries. One is Pakistan, another is China. So if you want to tell more about Pakistan, we understand that Pakistan and India were together. We call it as undivided India before 1947. But then we have unfortunate, some leaders, especially from the opposite side, called Pakistan. You remember who was the person who asked a separate nation? It was Dr. M.A. Jinnah. Say it.
Dr. M.A. Jinnah.
No, he is regarded as the father of the Pakistan. His name is Dr. Barrister Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He was of the view that Indians should give special and more electorates to the Muslims. If they don't give, then let us separate. Because initially the Britishers infused in the Britishers in the Indians' mind that these people are generally who? Hindus. And Muslims don't get any rights here. Muslims don't get any, we can say, freedom. Some leaders understood the Britishers are playing dirty politics with us. What was that policy? We call it as divide and rule. But some never analyzed. So M.A. Jinnah was one among them. Although Gandhiji tried his level best to convince him, but he was very much stubborn for creating a new nation called Pakistan. So, in fact, if you watch TV or any other newspapers or anything, they said he created a new theory. Any idea? He created a theory which we call as two-nation theory. What is two-nation theory? Although we get receive independence from Britishers one, but once we get the full independence, it will be divided on the basis of religion. What religion? That Pakistan will have majority of the Muslims, but India said no, we don't bifurcate. If at all India would have taken the decision, what Pakistan had done, what decision India would have taken?
To make India only Hindu.
Very good. And all the Muslims should go to Pakistan. Then India say that.
India said that we don't want to become a Hindu Pakistan.
Very good. Oh, I didn't know this. Good, yeah. So it's indirectly to say India adopted secularism.
Yes.
Those who do not want to stay in India can go to Pakistan. But Indian government did not force any section or any population. You as a citizen of India will get all the rights regarding disregarding whether you are Hindus or Muslims. Even now also you can see what all the politics related programs are going on. But still now India doesn't give any high importance to Hindus. Although they say more than 80 to 90% are Hindus only. But do you think Hindus are getting any overriding powers over than other Muslims or no? These are some skirmishes or some politician keeps playing some political vengeance like games. But overall, are we living peacefully? Yes. Then what Pakistan has done? They have adopted more like a Islamic state of Pakistan. Religion was the main base. But till today, Pakistan has not achieved what India has achieved, the glory or success or economy. Maybe within them, although they are 90% or maximum Muslim dominated only, but they do not have that connectivity or they have their own factions. You remember two factions of Muslims? They call themselves Shias and Sunnis. Even today, that difference persists in Pakistan. Understood? So let's analyze what is this Pakistan all about and how does Pakistan. Just read till I'll explain in detail.
Major decisions by elected leaders. Pakistan. In Pakistan, General Pervez Musharraf led a military coup in October 1999.
How do you explain the word military coup?
Military expedition.
Means in India, whenever it is not with India, whenever India had a small war or anything with Pakistan, very quickly the government in Pakistan will change. If it changes from one government elected to the other, it is okay. Suddenly the military leader will take over. And General Pervez Musharraf was one. And I think he ruled Pakistan for close to 7 years. No elections were held, no prime minister, no president. So he was one man dictator. So let us understand what Pervez Musharraf brought changes to the Pakistan administration. He is a military leader.
He overthrew a democratically elected government and declared himself the chief executive of the country. Later, he changed his designation to president and in 2002 held a referendum in the country that granted him a 5-year extension. In August 2002, he issued a legal framework order that amended the constitution of Pakistan. According to this order, Pakistan can dismiss the national and provincial assemblies. The work of the civilian cabinet is supervised by a national security council, which is dominated by military officers.
So he has removed all the ministers. He has removed all the politicians. In fact, the National Assembly, which would decide the ruling of the country, would comprise of what? Ministers or all military leaders? All military leaders. If they are the military leaders, can they take any decision against Pervez Musharraf?
No.
So this is how he amended the constitution. He only after 1 year declared that for the next 5 years I will be the ruler. Second, he formed a group of ministers or ministry in which all were military leaders. I mean, you and me serve in military. If I become the leader of one particular place, you will definitely support me because you are serving under me. So this is what this government has undertaken. Next.
The work of the civilian cabinet is supervised by a national security council, which is dominated by military officers. After passing this law, elections were held to the national and state assemblies. So Pakistan has had elections, elected representatives have some power, but the final power rests with military officers and General Musharraf himself.
Only unlimited final powers. So he had given the powers as if that he has not given any powers. He had given the powers. But anyway, final authority is in the hands of
The
military leader. No other person or minister can exercise the power without his consent. Underline that only, final powers. Next.
Clearly, there are many reasons why Pakistan under General Musharraf should not be called a democracy. But let us focus on one of these. Can we say that the rulers are elected by people in Pakistan? Not quite. People may have elected their representatives to the national and provincial assemblies, but those elected representatives are not really the rulers. They cannot take the final decisions. The power to take final decision rests with army officials and with General Musharraf, and none of them are elected by the people.
And none of them are elected. Now, if we establish such a government, it normally destroys the democracy. Although you might say that I'm giving rights to the people and fundamental rights, etc., etc., but I'm a military leader. Was he elected by the people? No. Is he having any authority to sit as the leader of the country? No. But he has taken over the government by force. Now, what this will tell regarding that country?
That it has a
dictatorship or a military leadership. And anytime the democracy can be put in danger. So I don't know whether you have heard the word or not. We say generally these kind of democracies are banana republics. Why it is banana republics? Although from distance it shows to be a republic, but it can be peeled off any time. You know, banana is so easy to peel off. So around any time this government can become a dictator. Okay, that's
like China also, because it says that it is a democracy, but
we are going to study. If I want to tell you more about China, China is a communist kind of a setup. At least Pakistan, they have maybe some voice at least. They can speak. But China is a more of a totalitarian government. How do I explain what totalitarian? That it is whole and soul the party. So we have the present Prime Minister, Xi Jinping. Okay, he is from that CPM, is it? What is it? Communist Party of China, CPC. Here he has made a special provision that he will be the Prime Minister of China for the next no years. As long as he is alive, he will be the Prime Minister. Imagine
yes.
Country like
And
India.
the COVID also, he is now making the lockdowns, and the people are shouting and crying.
Oh, really? You have watched all these news? I think some parts of China is again facing the COVID fear as well.
And he's not taking any help also from the other countries.
He is not taking.
Yeah, he's just like showing that China has no cases, and trying now he takes his decision back. Then like it would be an embarrassment for him.
Correct. And China is totally different from what Pakistan, but more or less people do not enjoy any rights. In China, even today, there is a big province where they have a highest Muslim population. Have you heard about? They are called as Uyghurs. Uyghurs are those people who are converted into Islam, and they are Chinese only. Knowingly or unknowingly, Chinese government kills them. Kills them like goats and buffaloes only. No country would have the guts to raise voice against. So whenever our neighboring country called Pakistan keeps saying that in India genocide is going on, you know what is genocide, no? Killing the people on farm, and there is no Islam, Muslims are treated badly, and very quickly Indian minister asks, if it is so, you are saying, and what about China? Why don't you give a same sympathy cry to Chinese Muslims who are called as Uyghur? Then there Pakistan has to keep its mouth shut. Why?
Because if they say anything, that they will.
China will ban Pakistan into I don't know what China will do. Because even today, now anyway they stop the money finance. Pakistan economy survives all thanks to China only. Because there are various initiatives, various investment, amount of loans. In fact, they say Pakistan has come to an end getting loans from any country in the world. World Bank, America, China. And the only country can help it bring it out is India. But Pakistan doesn't want. Neither India is interested in lending any help. Let's see, continue.
This happens in many dictatorships and monarchies. They formally have an elected parliament and government, but the real power is with those who are not elected. In the case of the role of USSR in communist Poland and that of US in contemporary Iraq, the real power was with some external powers and not with locally elected representatives. this cannot be called people's rule.
Under an external powers and not locally elected. Now, if I say that this government is a people's rule, people might have contributed. If not contributed, at least people willingly see, yes, we like this kind of leadership. I don't know if you have heard about Chinese history. There was a leader called Mao Zedong. He was the Chinese prime minister when India was attacked by China. They said this fellow is cunning, okay, but Mao Zedong was more cunning than this fellow. So Chinese people for ages got the habit of living like this only. Like what? Dictatorship. Or in fact, they've got in a habit of living under such government. But one thing is very sure, that whatever the government does, it is not like India. So many crores of scams, this man, that man, nothing. Strictly to the public welfare. So definitely people are ready to support. Because whether you are a dictator, whether you are a military leader, it may delay. If people get food, clothing, shelter, and education and employment, then why are you crying? We keep browbeating. You know what is browbeating? But I know India is this, India is that. And definitely being an Indian, I'm proud of it. But at the end of the day, what are you trying to do? Unemployment is high, inflation is high. The best inflation we can see, inflation, price rise. This is petrol. But at least as compared to the earlier government, this government has come up to such a level that although the war is fought on east, which war? But both the countries want India to, mediate. What is mediating? Talk for both. Till independence, till today, we don't find any government might have at least requested India to talk to stop the war. This itself is a best example that India has achieved a high point of glory. But then these small petty things, which is disturbing the economic development or image, whatever it is, has to be kept away. But then it's so impossible that these things can be avoided so quickly. It can be. There are some leaders who are still now following what Britishers had followed. What was that? Divide and rule. The simple solution is educate the masses. Understand what these leaders are for. I don't know the movie, if you have, I don't know, you guys are able to watch, called the Kashmir Files.
Yeah, I have not.
It is anyway, it is above 18 centimeters. Some of my 10 people told they have got some bad recording coming from 1 or 2 OTT. So it is very clearly shown in that what exactly the government has done during those days. Even today, some leaders of the Kashmir are not of the view that Article 370, you know that. Article 370 in Kashmir has been removed. So Kashmir is no more a special status. It is any ordinary state like Maharashtra, Punjab or Bihar. Till now, Pakistan is fiddling with that only. That Muslims in Kashmir are ill-treated, they are killed. So India time and again keeps asking that Kashmir is an internal part of India. And it is an integral part of India. Why are you interfering into such matters? Okay. So let us finish this para and then we'll solve 1 or 2 questions. Then we'll see.
A free and fair electoral competition. China. In China, elections are regularly held after every 5 years for electing the country's parliament called Kongu Renmin Dapia Zai.
What is it? Kongu Renmin.
Yes. Dapia Dahui. National People's Congress. The National People's Congress has the power to appoint the president of the country. It has nearly 3,000 members elected from all over China. Some members are elected by the army. Before contesting elections, a candidate needs the approval of the Chinese Communist Party. Only those who are members of the Chinese Communist Party or 8 smaller parties.
Hey, where you are born to China?
Yes.
Pakistan is completely.
Yes, Pakistan.
Oh my God. Oh, that's why you are asking me, son. I can't tell you. Before we, China is a small paradise. Let us finish up.
Now India started.
No problem. Let us finish that China.
Before contesting elections, a candidate needs the approval of the Chinese Communist Party. Only those who are members of the Chinese Communist Party or 8 smaller parties allied to it were allowed to contest elections held in 2002 to 3. The government is always formed by the Communist Party. There is one party rule. Although elections are held regularly, we cannot call China a true democratic country.
Why is it so?
Because there is only one party.
See also better. Now with one political party, why does the country contest elections? They just want to show the world. And last election we had won by 40%, this time we have won by 60%. It's like you are telling me, sir, yesterday in marathon I came first. I said, how many? Except me, nobody was running. And why are you getting a gold medal or a bronze medal? But no, I don't know whether seriously right or wrong, China has always one good policy. It has maintained the national income very high, maintained the employment level, poverty and so on very high. Whereas a country like India, which is giving all kinds of rights and duties, but we are unable to compete with China. Because one, they have the scale of production. You know what is scale of production? In the world, I can say in the world, China is the only country which has the cheapest labor.
That's and because many things are produced in
a very, very large scale. Good. So you know that. So that is why
India doesn't want that the things that are produced in China are now.
Correct. That is what in the COVID we have done. What is that slogan government says? Vocal for local. And it is not so easy to cut China from India also, at least in production level, because you make the best mobile or the best laptop, at least 1 or 2 chips are from China. It's okay, but at least we have hit the China where it bleeds the most. In Deepavali, many people did not buy any lamps and crackers which are made in China. They have not purchased, and so many Chinese companies in India are closed now. In fact, China says India is the biggest consumer to China. That is understandable. What is that Chinese apps? What is that apps? TikTok. Yeah, we will tell that. So look, government is taking the steps. But China has, in fact, if I say economically, way ahead of India. 20 years, what India will be, China is already put. We say that in 20 years we will equal to China. In 20 years you will equal to China, but 20 years after what China will be. So it is so difficult to catch up. But then our government has really shown some, iron hand. Although you might be powerful, although you are militarily or economically double, but India is no longer a country which defeated in the year in Indo-China War. Okay, let's finish that.
Mexico. Since its independence in 1913, Mexico holds election after every 6 years to elect its president. The country has never been under a military or dictator's rule. But until 2000, every election was won by a party called PRI, Institutional Revolutionary Party. Opposition parties did not contest elections but never managed to win. The PRI was known to use many dirty tricks to win elections. All those who were employed in government offices had to attend its party meetings. Teachers of party schools used to force parents to vote for the PRI. Sometimes the polling booths were shifted from one place to another in the last minute, which made it difficult for people to cast their votes. The PRI spent a large sum of money in their campaign for its candidates. In both these cases, the people cannot choose their leaders in their true sense. There was no way the ruling party could be defeated, even if people were against it. These are not fair elections. We can thus add a second feature of democracy. Holding elections of any kind is not sufficient. The elections must offer a real choice between political alternatives, and it should be possible for people to use this choice to remove the existing rulers if they wish to. But democracy must be based on a free and fair election where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing.
Okay. So, although Mexico is close to China, but it is no better than China. Only one party is there, and that also does all kinds of antisocial activities, splitting the things and other things. So, if you say you are true democratic, allow the people to decide you, allow the people to judge you. If the people says yes, this party is good, let it continue for next 10 years, then it is so. But what is the good thing about Mexico, which is not there in China? It is not a communist government. You know what is communism means? Where everything belongs to the government. Even what you do and what do you call it? Which job you are going to go. It's more like that government has the full right to interfere in your personal life also. Similar in Mexico, it is not there. It's a Latin American country, but then only one party dominance, and so. Okay, and let's go to the worksheet pages. How many questions we can solve this week? It's almost we might finish the chapter also. There is no worksheet question.
No, we have it on page 16.
This is now old textbook. Read the first question.
It is why cannot be called Zimbabwe or democracy?
Next.
What does individual freedom mean?
Okay. I'm sorry. Next one.
Give any two demerits of democracy.
Demerits means disadvantage. You try to find out whether Zimbabwe is given in a textbook. You got a textbook at least. Find out why
Yes, it is given.
it's given.
Rule of law and respect for rights. Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Zimbabwe attained independence from minority rule in 1980. Since then, the country has been ruled by ZANU-PF, Zimbabwe African National Union. Patriotic Front, the party that led the freedom struggle. Its leader, Robert Mugabe, is popular and has been ruling the country since independence. Elections has been held regularly and always won by ZANU-PF, usually by the use of unfair practices in elections. Over the years, his government has changed the constitution several times to increase the powers of the president and make him less accountable. Opposition party workers are harassed, public protests and demonstrations against the government are declared illegal. There is a law that limits the right to criticize the president. Television and radio are controlled by the government and give only the ruling party's version. There are independent newspapers, but the government harasses those journalists who go against it. The government has ignored some court judgments that went against it and has pressurized judges. The example of Zimbabwe shows that popular approval of the rulers is necessary in a democracy but is not sufficient. Popular governments can be undemocratic, popular leaders can be autocratic. In a democracy, there should be sufficient room for normal political activity, including political opposition in the period after elections. The state should respect some basic rights of the citizen. They should have freedom of expression and association to protest and take other political actions. Everyone should be equal in the eyes of law. These rights must be protected by an independent judiciary whose orders are obeyed by everyone. After the elections, a democratic government cannot do whatever it likes. It has to respect some guarantees to the minorities. Every major decision has to go through a series of consultations as laid down by the Constitution. Every official is accountable not only to the people but also to other independent officials. Fourth and formal feature of democracy, a democratic government rules within limits set by constitutional law and citizens' right.
So the whole discussion for Zimbabwe is good to a certain extent and bad to a certain extent. They are saying the government is responsible, but it is not fully appointed by whom? by the people. They are not only, what do you call it, good with their own, but they are good with their certain rules also. If you remember Zimbabwe, have you seen the cricket team at least? Majority of the cricket team अभी तो निकाल दिया Zimbabwe. It is not no more a test playing issue. So majority of the group of the members were all whites, but the local people are non-whites. So this handful of people were doing whom?
Non-whites.
The non-whites which are major in numbers. But as in India, like what Britishers have done, these non-whites have really barred these non-whites coming from any part of the organization, any government of sorts. But then with great, like what has happened to Africa, South Africa. Then there was some freedom movement in Zimbabwe and they got the freedom. Now also the one-party dominance is there, is it?
Yes.
Elections are held, they are responsible. But their responsibility is not like what the responsible government we have in India. Now you solve that at least 2 or 3 questions. The first question is start solving for Zimbabwe. Done? How many questions?
Then the first one, we cannot put Zimbabwe in democracy because elections have been held regularly and always won by ZANU PF, usually by the use of unfair practices in elections.
What does an unfair means?
Fine.
You have to say booth rigging. You know what does booth rigging means? They loot the boxes and whichever they party they want, they will stamp it and put it. Okay, that's a good answer. What else?
The rest three questions are what does individual freedom mean? Give a name to demerits of democracy.
वो अभी तक आया नहीं वो टॉपिक.
And
Okay.
Why is Myanmar not a democratic country?
What is it? Myanmar. Did we get into Myanmar to see? Mexico.
Pakistan, China, Mexico, and Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. What is the next country?
Next is it is that summary definition after the why democracy merits of democracy and then demerits of
Let us go with the merits first because we have a direct question on merits and demerits. Okay. Merits ka what is the other name you can write there? You write the advantages. Advantages. If they ask you merits, it is as good as advantages.
There is no denying the fact that most of the scholars regard democracy as the best of governments. Undoubtedly, democracy has many merits which deserve our special attention. Democracy is better than any other form of government because it represents the needs of the people. It does not depend on the whims of the ruler or the dictator. In simple words, we can say that democracy is for the people. It is an accountable form of government. Democracy is based on consultation and discussion, as such, many mistakes are corrected in time. Thus, democracy improves the quality of decision making. Democracy provides peaceful solution to every problem. It provides the
So these are the advantages. Peaceful, every problem you have a solution. Correct. How many points are there?
It is accountable form of government. The democracy improves the quality of decision making. So
just copy down with small points in your notebook. Best form of government, accountable form of government. So this chapter is quite interesting as compared to the one.
Yes, sir.
And you are also very active in watching news and other channels, is
Yes.
it? So you know what's happening now in India now? Not all masjid related issues are you watching?
Yeah, like some of the Muslim, I didn't watch the most of the Muslim. I watch most that are the outer countries. That
Where I'll show you certain documents, not documents, related to what is this chapter, because since you are quite because this is a one interesting chapter you will love to, you know. I've not got my specs, I've left it in my home, so that's really killing me. We'll put our chapter name on it, na? Let's see what and why does. So sorry. Is that something funny video?
Class 9 की political science what is the
We have direct democracy and indirect. This is today. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has gone to UK. So let's see what is this all about.
Hello friends, welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today, we're going to learn about one of the most ideal and revolutionary ideas that man has created. Today, we're going to learn about democracies. A democracy consists of the idea that a country's citizens participate in the election of who will govern them and the political decisions that the government takes. This is offered through the right to vote when we are overage. But democracy wasn't always like this, and it has experienced a long journey before becoming the way we know it today. Let's travel in time to see how it all started. The birth of the first democracy.
This you know at least. As far as European history concerned, they say democracy has been shaped from this country only. Or in fact, the Athens city-states. What is Athens famous for? Olympics. You know, Olympics originated from the Greece only. And we have a small city-state. City-state means population is very less, where people will gather, they will discuss, and they'll pass the bill. So initially people say that democracy we have shaped from Athens. But if we exactly understand the history of India, Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka the Great, they also had, even electing the ministers, they will not have it on their own. They will make the chits of the names of the people in one earthen pot or anything, and one small child will become. This is what it is in form of democracy. But history has a track record that we have shared from Greece.
The word democracy comes from the Greek word meaning town. It's an idea that was first thought of a long time ago by citizens in Athens.
Did I say Athens? That is a city-state. It's a very small state.
city in ancient Greece. It consisted of a government system where decisions were discussed and decided by a citizens' assembly. The members of the assembly were selected by a raffle, and the decisions were agreed after a majority of votes in favour. But what is true is that neither women or slaves could vote. They had no rights. Sometime after, the Greeks' democratic ideas travelled to Rome. In ancient Rome, they started to approve laws and chose their governors through citizens' assemblies. Although, if you wanted to be part of these assemblies, you had to be rich, noble, and very powerful. The town couldn't decide yet. It still wasn't an authentic democracy. In medieval times, democracy didn't exist. It was the kings and noblemen who made all the decisions, and they acted like real tyrants, like dictators who didn't care about the rest of the town. This was until the end of the 18th century, where the French Revolution erupted.
So we have done just French Revolution, sir.
In 1789, French citizens faced and defeated the absolute monarchy. From this moment on, the first real democratic ideologies took place in France, especially the right to universal suffrage. So, any citizen, regardless.
You know what is the suffrage? Is it same like what India is giving to you? What did I say? Universal?
Rights.
Write it in the notebook. You should know this. Yes, you know that.
Yes.
Write it down. Give the definition. because अभी डेमोक्रेसी का इतना डिटेल जाएगा तो आना ही चाहिए है ना. All the adult citizens of the country, who have completed the age of 18 years are eligible to vote. All the citizens of the country who have completed the age of 18 years.
Citizens of the country.
Who have completed the age of 18 years are eligible to vote in elections held in the country. One more sentence.
Who have completed the age of 18 years.
18 years are eligible to vote in the elections of the country without any discrimination. On the basis of caste, color, creed.
In the elections of the country.
Without any discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed, etc. So do we have it in India?
Yes.
Okay. So let's finish this video. You can pack your bag also. I'm not packing, but one more lecture to
Yes.
go. Geography, is it?
Yes. Without any discrimination on the basis of caste.
Caste, color, creed, etc. Let me play this video.
Yes.
So at least for French Revolution, I think something they are showing me.
Others of them, being rich or poor, could vote and participate in their governors' elections. Although the universal part wasn't all true, because women couldn't vote yet. Over time, democracies traveled to many other countries where they were also established as a governmental system. But unfortunately, there have been and still are differences and inequalities between people. For example, women couldn't vote in many countries until the 20th century. And some races, like the black race, were and still are considered secondary citizens in many parts of the world. Democracies still need to be perfected. Well, now we know democracy's history, and we learned that it looks for general welfare and is based on respecting each other and human equality, whether they are man or woman, rich or poor, white or black. Everyone has the same rights, but also the same duties. So we need to respect the rules and norms set. This is democracy, and in Happy Learning, we love this ideology because we believe in equal rights. We believe in respect and solidarity, that we think that nobody is superior to another. Goodbye, friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Happy Learning TV.
At least we understand one thing, what it is, that democracy has been accepted by all over the world, all the countries. But then I feel India provides one of the best. America's best, all before that Twin Tower incidents. Because, I don't know, they say the amount of freedom that we get in India is something at least within our limits. But in America, government is considered to be more free, where individual freedom is the highest. For example, in America, if a movie is produced and released, and if it is showing something what the Prime President has done or any mistake, and by God forbids he is trying to ban that movie, and then he will have to step down the next day itself. And there, I don't know. Now the country is going through some trouble maybe because of that. What is that earlier president's name? Trump, Donald Trump. Although he lost the election, then there was so much, which they call it. In their own parliament, there was a big clash between the supporters of Obama, not Obama, supporters of Trump and Joe Biden. We do not know what exactly was the result, but some people told, Biden has rigged the result. Rigged, not a true. What was that hill they call it? Some government palace would be. But still now, India holds far, far better than what it is. So whatever questions, just see how many questions you can solve for today.
The worksheet, three questions.
Just solve all. Okay, when I come, I'll continue with the second this chapter, and then we'll come back to history. Sure. Bye. See you.
Mm.